You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome in. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Coming into this space to dive deep into the unknown, to make it known, a little less scary, a little more buoyant, bringing it up to the surface, letting it tell you a story, letting it give you comfort, reminding you that infinite possibilities are essential to our story. And no one story tells it all. Right? Ra was giving a story in his the first book, and it tells you about the densities. It gives you, if you were to write right now and put columns and put the header would be density, focused organization or orientation, form, and function. The second column would be first, self, pure being, existence. And then the roles would be second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh in the density. So here we go. The first density under orientation is self. It's not talking about the me. It's talking about the creation of Earth, or Earth consciousness and her body. And it then, under form, it's pure being. Earth consciousness and body was pure beingness. And the function was to exist. The second density orientation is other. The things and the creations that started to make an environment for Earth consciousness. You can see it as the hairs on your body, your fingernails. Well, the same thing with Earth consciousness. Her molten lava, the atmosphere, mountains starting to form, mist starting to propagate, environment. Function, growth and movement. Third density, self. Third density, self. The I, becoming aware. Self-awareness. The other selves. Fourth is others. And the others that are outside of you, i.e., myself, I am aware of me, and now I am aware of Marcus. Marcus is my other self. And the function, like Ra says, is unconditional love, the law of one. Fifth density is self, the form of mind and spirit, and the function is wisdom. Sixth density is other. It's the universe, and unity is its function. Seventh density is self, the creator, and absorption. So what Ra is saying, that everything we do, we end up back at seventh density as we climb the densities, as we shift and we expand and we evolve. We're moving towards absorption, coming back to wholeness. This is all Ra is showing us, is helping us to understand growth, inner standards. Oh, I'm sorry. Inner standing. We come from standing under and having everything thrown at us, and we grow and expand till we have an inner standing that maybe all the things that are thrown at us aren't necessarily for our highest and greatest good, and we get to decide that. Overstanding is the divine saying, I got you. You're understanding me, I got you now. So, as we begin today, once again on this beautiful Wednesday, to understand the unknown, grow and expand and shift, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, just leave it in the little pot. Someone else will pick that part of the energy up, and it might be exactly what's meant for them and not for you. One size does not fit all. Ra has never said that all of these 5 books were meant for you to understand it from beginning to end in perfection. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat sheet. So are we ready? Are you ready, Marcus? I'm ready. Over to you, Marcus.
Over to me. It sounds like the DJ just dropped a hot beat. It looks like we're going to go ahead and get people to wiggle on their feet, maybe move their hips and sing a beautiful melody. You see, I am something like an MC of the galactic cosmos, here to be the heaven on earth, a bridge of the holy divinity and the flesh of the earth that we are made up to see, that we are the stars in form, here to see and be and float through this cosmic galaxy. Welcome to rising, welcome to being, Welcome to Flowing. We're ascending beyond the limitations. Raw material, the law of one. I am Marcus Christolight. We got Sandy M. Thank you, Sandy, for opening us in this beautiful space tonight. Welcome in Lady Casso on Sandy's IG. Welcome in everybody else. And thank you all for tuning in. Facebook, YouTube, IG, live, replay. Thank you all for being you. I really look forward to this episode tonight as we flow with the raw energy, the raw octave, the raw tone of divinity. And may it shine. May it shine in its totality. May we be open with our hearts, open in our minds, and open with our throat as we bridge and be the vessel for this knowledge tonight. With that, let's go ahead and take a time travel to last week on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we explored episode 72. And then we will pick up and hand it back off to Sandy. With that, I'm not going to hold this up much longer. Let's get ready for episode 72 of Ascending Beyond Limitations.
You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything.
Which body, in respect to the colors, does the entity use to travel to us? I know this is going to Marcus is probably already shaking in his seat because we're talking about the chakras again, right? Okay. I am Ra. This query is not particularly simple to answer due to the trans-dimensional nature, not only of space-time and time-space, but from density to density. The space-time light or fifth density body is used while the space-time fifth density body remains in fifth density. The second book, and in the very beginning of this book, about Orion and why Orion keeps trying to come through to interact with us, right? And we were talking about free will and that they can only interact with us based on our free will.
Video.
In this lab, they could magnify the cells and manipulate them using their fingers through vibration. They reorganize the DNA patterns to balance them with the information from their own worlds.
So yeah, as you guys see, you can see more in depth about that in full when you go to the actual episode. And you can find that on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Broadcast Network. But basically, to sum it all up, like there's a little bit of everything that comes from Orion. You know, you have some positive polarity beings, you have some negative polarity beings. And when it comes to the negative polarity beings, they are some of the ones that contribute to some of the mind control programming, to some of the corruption that we see in our society that has kind of spread and taken over down here in this lower third dimension as being like these beacons or these anchors for higher dimensional or divine light to be able to be anchored down into this third dimensional grid system. And with that, let's explore free will a little bit.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. Revelation 3:20, if there's one thing God never forces, it's love. And that's where this chapter begins, with free will, one of the most sacred principles in both the Law of One and the teachings of Jesus.
Where it begins, free will. So the divine wanted me to start with the divine design, chapter 1.1. It's called The Intention and experiment. The consciousness that is known as Earth split from Source at once, all at one moment, and used intent and energy to create her current experience and experiment. Because this is a channeled message, it also says, we would like to point out the distinction between the higher dimensional consciousnesses that create this experiment and the planetary body holding the consciousness. We will be referring to the higher dimensional consciousness as Earth, she or her. And we will be referring to Earth's form as Earth plane and or planet Earth. The reason why the divine had me read that is because everything was created with an intent plus energy. Ra wants you to know that information is given to you solely so that you can not judge it, though you can. That's a free will choice. But you can discern it. And then with your intent on change or continuing it through your energy that you give it, you can create the next journey or the next situation or circumstance. You can transform the circumstance that you're in, or you can alchemize it with your intent, what you intend to do with it, and your energy. Scientists now, I keep saying this, it blew my mind. Scientists say that every human being has the energy of an atom bomb. We're walking atom bombs, the energy that we hold. And all Ra wants you to know is that they did it. They shifted their whole planet. They came in as one consciousness, wholeness. If they could do it, they know we can do it. They're cheering us on and giving us the cheat sheets. So let's get ready. Let's read some more of these cheat sheets. Let's dive in and open up a vibrational dialogue with the divine. The questioner says, then how would we solve this paradox? And the paradox is the vessel being channeled through is having some difficulty with discomfort, and she's got she knows she can be healed, but at the same time she's in some type of discomfort that is perplexing. It's kind of like you knowing that you've told the universe that you want a brand new car, but you're trying to allow the universe to, do it, but you're getting in your own way because you can't see how that's going to work. I don't make enough money. I don't have the down payment. I don't. So you're in conflict. That also happens with having difficulties in your body or mind as well. And this is what the questioner is still speaking about. I am Ra. Consider, if you will, that you have no ability to serve the Creator, since all is the Creator. You do not have merely two opposites requests for information or lack of information from one source. If you listen carefully to those whose voices you may hear, this is all one voice to which you resonate upon a certain frequency. This frequency determines your choice of service to the one Creator. As it happens, this group vibratorily patterns and those of Ra are compatible and enable us to speak through this instrument with your support. This is a function of free will. A portion seemingly of the Creator rejoices at your choice to question us regarding the evolution of spirit. A seemingly separate portion with which, for multitudinous answers to a great range of queries of a specific nature. Another seemingly separate group of your people would wish this correspondence through this instrument to cease, feeling it to be a negative nature. Upon the many other planes of existence, there are those whose every fiber rejoices at your service, and those such as the entities of whom you have been speaking, which only wish only to terminate life upon the third density plane of this instrument. All are the Creator. The divine wants me to take a pause there. The ones that do not wish for this collaboration between Ra and the vessels is the same Creator that is the ones that want to continue the collaboration. All is one Creator. Ra continues to say, there is one vast panoply of biases and distortions, colors and hues, in an unending pattern in the case of those with whom you, as entities and as a group, are not in resonance. You wish them love, light, peace, joy, and bid them well. No more than this can you do, for your portion of the Creator is as it is, and your experience and offerings of experiences. To be vulnerable needs to be more and more a perfect representation of who you truly are. Could you then serve a negative entity by offering the instruments life? It is unlikely that you would find this a true service. Thus, you may see in many cases the loving balance being achieved, the love being offered, light being sent, and the service of the actually, that's what it says. And the service of the service to self-oriented entity gratefully acknowledge while being rejected as not being useful in your journey at this time. Thus you serve one Creator without paradox. So when you say evil, oh, we've got to vanquish all evil. Oh, evil shouldn't exist. But it's all evil and good are part of the Creator. It's one and the same. It's all energy. It's a gift to us because it helps us seek the journey. It helps us seek the choices in movement that our soul or our higher being, whatever you choose to call it, has to move. That our soul or our higher being is recalling, oh, I came here for this. I came to seek what peace would feel like in form. But in order to seek peace, I have to feel what peace is not. I have to feel chaos. But all of it is one. All of it is the Creator seeking itself through us. No right way or wrong way. There might be a right way that felt good to us. And through that, we get to share with someone else, but we can't make them do whatever we're doing. We can't force it. What's the song? If it don't fit, don't force it. Relax and let it go. Surrender it. Over to you, Marcus.
Hi, beautiful souls. It's Sandra. I'm inviting you to my episode 4 of my Soul Awakening podcast series, A Journey Living Karma and Dharma.
Welcome in, beautiful souls. It is my intention today to be and live powerfully in my present moment.
Give some people who does not give at all and they receive so much, and some people give so much and they don't receive almost at all.
Okay. Let me tell you something. The universe does not favor positive or negative. The universe does not favor positive.
But they're cheering you on for you right now, breaking your karmic cycles. And your karmic cycle is just a reoccurring vibrational loop that is in your now moment that says, here you are. Here's what you put out. Your Dharma is saying, I'm open. All you got to do is walk through the door. All you got to do is walk through the door.
That's right. And I got to say, Sandy has been walking through the door. Not only has she been walking through the door, but she has been walking through it, and she has been shining and smiling so big with so much excitement for all that has been happening. And what you guys just saw there was a highlight reel, or a reel of the latest episode of her Soul Awakening podcast. And it has to do with karma and dharma. And this episode 4 was about the law of cause and effect. You guys can check it out on her YouTube channel, Soul Awakening with Sandra. And you guys can watch any other replay and live that she has had as well. So you guys can check that out. You guys can actually connect with her by simply taking your phone or other device and scanning that QR code right up there in this corner of the screen. And that'll take you to her social tap website, where you guys can get linked into her Spotify, as well as YouTube and anything else that she has to offer.
Thank you so much,
So,
Karma.
with that being said, oh yeah, I was gonna say, you had somebody in the comments who said that she was loving your hair tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I didn't know if it was going to work, but I was kind of, all day I started digging it more and more and more, kind of. So thank you so, so much. So what did you think of what Ra was saying to the questioner, Marcus?
You also have to refresh me a little bit.
Well, I could break it down into a whole sentence. Ra said, all is one. The negative and the positive, everything is one. We can actually, with everything that's going on in the world, when you look out into the outside world, and we say out there, and I'm in here spiritually. Okay, I'll just do it this way. Out there, and I'm in here. It's not separate. It's just about how you choose to intend what you're going to do with your discernment of what's going on out there versus in here. So what I started saying a long time ago, and I used to think it was only just physical, but now I'm doing it more body, mind, and soul, spiritual. What I used to tell people, what's your opinion of me got to do with me? But it's also about when you look at the world and what's going on outside, you get to ask, what's that got to do with me? It's wholeness. It's a part of wholeness. It's a part of the divine being, whatever that individual or that group or that community or that government, part of the government, far left, far right, whatever, the pharmaceutical companies, everything, all these people, they, as Ra has told us, they get to choose the negative polarity, which is service to self. They get to choose that. Why are we so surprised about it? Well, we're surprised about it because now we've become aware of it. Before, we were conscious that we didn't like it, but now we're aware that they get to make the choice. And now we're learning, how do I unconsciously, or how do I consciously and awarely, if that's even a word, love them unconditionally. Because this is what Ra is saying. Regardless of service to self or service to others, it is all the divine, and we still have to use unconditional love because all is love. The law of one and the law of love are the same. All is love. I may not like some things that people do, but I get to ask myself, how can I unconditionally love them? And the whole thing was, it was never meant, guys, to be easy. It was just meant to be. It's the divine seeking itself through Sandy or through Marcus or through Carmel or through Kelsey. It's meant for us to, it's hard because the ego itself in the humanness of us, we want to dislike people because of what they do or what they say or how they present, because of how it makes us feel. But what Ra is saying, you get to feel the way you get to feel, but how are you going to work it out so that you can grow and expand without trying to make somebody else grow and expand with you when they're not ready, when it's not their calling? They may never open that door. They may be there so that your door opens. And then just as quick as they were there, they're not. Right? Maybe so. If you're there, it took me a long time to figure out that one. And like I told Marcus today, even some of the stuff that I'm going through right now that I shared with him, that's part of it. Learning to unconditionally love somebody who's making your life uncomfortable. And truly they may not be aware of it because they're in service to self, taking care of themselves. And guess what? That's free will. All right. You want to take it over and finish it from there?
Yeah, that was excellent. Thank you for that. Thank you for that recap. Yeah, for me, I just want to draw a picture for everybody. And This is just a vision. So, we think about this oneness that we talk about. We talk about, everything being part of the one. And I want to like kind of give you guys a visual demonstration inside your mind of thinking about, how we create things here as human beings on Earth. And typically when we create something, we conceive it with our mind. And then after we conceive it with our mind, we then use our vital energy. And then we use our energy, which is a part of us, to then create another form into this material world. So when you think about that and how that is how we materialize or manifest, so to say, into this realm, you can then think about how the universe basically is a replication of creation. So you can go back to the beginning of creation in the creation story in many different ways throughout our ancient worlds, where they talk about how from the creator or from source energy, the primordial all, it turned itself into form, or it created itself to be able to experience itself through different forms. So then from source or from God, creator, it then polarized itself or multiplied itself into two poles. These two poles are equals and opposites. You can call it masculine and feminine. You can call it yin and yang. And then from these poles, they then birth and co-create more with those genetics, so to say. And then from those genetics becomes more and more creations, mixing of genetics, and hybridization, if you want to say. So then throughout the universe, we say that this is replicated through everything, not just human beings. So we look at animals. We look at when we are making food, when we are creating projects, when we are doing science, when we're doing mathematics. We see a lot of these same principles still being carried all the way from the beginning of creation into the way that we do things in modern time. And you can take many different examples and look into this as well. So with that being said, that is where the oneness comes in, is that no matter what we're doing in this creation is within the source. It is within creator. It is within God. Because in order for there to even be anything existing, then that means it has to be the source that made itself exist to be able to experience. And then from the source, it multiplies itself into many different illusions or forms. What are those illusions or forms? It is Marcus Christolight. It is Sandy Marshall. It is all of you in the audience. It is our parents. It is the animals. It is the trees. It is the guardian angels that we can't see, but we're able to sense intuitively. It is the ancestral energy that you connect with whenever you feel your ancestors speaking to you. So that's kind of like how I like to break down oneness to people, and to try to give the vision of how this oneness thing kind of is throughout the law of one. And then from that truth of oneness, you can then have many different shades or many different shadows of that truth that we experience throughout polarity. Now, with polarity, it's not about separation. It's not about good being separate from bad. It's not about light being separate from dark or one being better than the other. But polarity is showing that in order for one thing to exist, then it has to have a equal or opposite force in order to make it balance in the universe. And everything in the universe can only exist if there is a balanced force that allows it to be able to exist. Because within that balance, then comes the yin and the yang that makes up the whole balance. So the last way I'll break this down is like, you think of the yin and yang, you have the circle, and then within the circle, it has the line that shows the split, so to say. Now, this circle, you can think of the circle as source or creation, basically. So the whole circle is God, or it is the creation creator. And then within that circle, you have those tiny circles in the top left and the bottom right. And then you also have the line that creates the separation of yin and yang. So within that circle, what fills in and creates the yin and the yang that's inside of the circle, that is all of us. We are within the circle, creating the details inside of the circle while the circle is still happening. And that is oneness right there. And that also shows you that you can actually detach from this world. You can detach from needing to control, to save, to fix what is outside of you, because you're already in a swimming pool of consciousness, swimming in the pool together, no matter which end of the pool you go to. And with that, I will hand it back.
Alrighty then. All I can say is that's what my daddy used to tell me every now and then. Alrighty then. Kind of, and he didn't go to church a lot, so it wasn't like all I could think now is, oh, alrighty then. Make it so. Right? We're all one. We all have this perception of separateness only for a short time. At least that's the way it was created from the divine. The divine said, eventually you'll wake up and you'll merge back with me, and then we'll be on this journey as divineness moving across this third density. But it's not a necessary part of the journey. The divine can do it no matter where you are in this experiment that Earth consciousness has going on. You get to make a choice. Some people have a recall and they awake and then they go, oh shit. And then they go, I want to go back to sleep because nope. I got to figure this stuff out. Nope. And it's a choice, guys. That's all Ra is saying is a choice. So some people might say, well, I'm conscious that I'm living. That's good enough. I don't need to be aware of the points, the different point scale that I need to move through. And we need to let them do their journey their way. Now, if it's making us uncomfortable, we have a decision to make. We get to grow and expand and go, oh, that's not for me anymore. And let go. But sometimes we don't want to. We have this awakening or this recalling, and we think we need to bring everybody and their mama with us. We believe we need to wake up the whole pew, the whole church pew, and say, I just realized, and I'm aware that we're in a matrix and we need to change. Come on. And everybody on the seat is saying, what? No, I don't want to go. I know that was me. In some areas of my life, it may not have been when I was learning and doing my growth process spiritually, but there were certainly other parts of my life where I was trying to, hey, I know, you need to come do this. And people were going, no, we're good. And Ra is saying, let them be good wherever they believe they're good at. But if it's not for you, then you're the one that has to surrender, and you're the one that has to let go, and then go ahead and go grow and expand, shift, evolve, and keep doing it and allowing yourself to shine. If it's meant for them to see you do that and then come and then have an awakening, they will. That's all Ra is saying. Third density isn't a place of discord on purpose. It isn't chaos on purpose. It's given to us so that we can discern as best we can and grow and expand at our own rate. So that means that if a person doesn't do the karmic and dharmic and the whole shebang, and they die, and then their soul chooses to come back and do it again, they will. It doesn't mean that that's the process for all souls, because every higher being has the choice to decide if it wants to come back and reincarnate. It never has to. We understand karmic contracts. This is what Ra wants you to understand, like we understand contracts from a human perspective, that they're binding. Your contract can always be changed, transformed, alchemized. You can always surrender the story. Even if somebody else might not want to surrender the story, that higher being may not be well equipped to understand that you've already learned whatever your lesson was and you surrender it. They might hang around for a little bit, but they don't get to make choices for you. The Ra is saying that's one half of the experience, and you're the other half, or you're the other half, and they're the half of the experience that they're learning from that end. Right? I know the divine wanted me to explain it that way. It sounds like it's difficult, but it's not. It's all the creator. That's as simple as we can put it. Everything is the creator. You'll hear someone say, all is mind. And then you'll get confused, because then someone else is saying, well, the creator is the heart chakra. The creator is love. The creator is all and nothing. In order for you to have something, there had to be a nothing for something to come from. And the creator is everything. The creator is mind. The creator is heart. The creator is soul. The creator is universe. The creator is earth. The creator is ocean. The creator is animal beings. The creator is that is and is not. And we get to choose how we want the creator seen through us. We get to show the creator. And the creator can say in certain words, ah, that's what it's like to be Sandy. Ah, got that. Next. So next question is, this particular entity, by his service, is able to create a dizzying effect on the instrument. Could you describe the mechanics of such a device? I am Ra. This instrument, in the small time of its incarnation, had the distortion in the area of the optic, not OTIC, not with a P like optic, but possibly that's what they meant back when it was being channeled. The optic complex of many infections, which caused great difficulties at this small age. As you would call it, the scars of these distortions remain, and indeed that which you call the sinus system remains distorted. Thus, the entity works with these distortions to produce a loss of the balance and slight lack of ability to use the optic apparatus. So now we have the OPTIC, optic. Okay. Everybody's heard of the ear, nose, and throat doctor. All of this is connected. The questioner asks, I was wondering about the magical, shall I say, principles used by the fifth density entity giving this service and his ability to give it. Why is he able to utilize these particular physical distortions from the philosophical or magical point of view? Ra says, I am Ra. This entity is able to, shall we say, penetrate in time/space configuration, the field of this particular entity. It has moved through the quarantine without any Divine wants me to slow the roll and say this over again. The entity is able to, shall we say, penetrate in time/space configuration, the field of this particular entity. It has moved through the quarantine without any vehicle and thus has been more able to escape detection by the net of the guardians. Thus, this great virtue of magical working, whereby consciousness is set forth essentially without vehicle as light. The light would work instantly upon an untuned individual by suggestion. That is, the stepping out in front of the traffic, because the suggestion is that there is no traffic. This entity has each in this group is enough discipline in the ways of love and light that it is not suggestible to any great extent. However, there is a predisposition of the physical complex which this entity is making maximal use of as regards to the instrument, hoping, for instance, by means of increasing dizziness to cause the instrument to fall or to indeed walk in front of your traffic because of the impaired vision. The magical principle, shall we say, may be loosely translated into your system of magic, whereby symbols are used and traced and visualized in order to develop the power of the light. So the questioner is talking about putting a spell on a spell or a suggestion to make the entity or the holder of that entity to be dizzy. But guess what? The entity can only get away with that if the person allows it. Every entity, every being, whether it comes from another star system, whether it comes from the realm of absolute or what you might call heaven, they have to honor the free will prerequisite of being in third density. But if a person doesn't honor their own free will, are we following? Let me know if you're following. And remember, you can always ask questions. You can decide whether you take in the power of light or the power of deception. It's your free will. And that power does not have power over you until you surrender to it or give way to it. Over to you, Marcus.
Our founder claims. This right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum.
Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with Christolight. Your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe. Yep, and that's Grand Rising with Christolight, which is my current live series that I'm doing on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And I've been currently exploring our galactic lineages and star nations. So today, the live was about the Pleiades, or actually, no, it was about Nibiru. Yesterday, the live was about the Pleiades. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be exploring the ancient history of Venus in our solar system. So you guys can tune in at any time, Sacred Light Broadcast Network or Facebook, Christolight Robbins. You guys can also scan the QR code up there in the corner. And that QR code will take you to my link page. And that link page will allow you to browse any of my one-on-one healing services, ranging from Reiki to inner child trauma healing, to shadow work integration, as well as starseed and soul origin meditations. And then you can also sign up for my retreats to that link page, and you can check out what I have coming up for the year, including my October 11/11 and New Year's retreats. So you guys can check that out anytime. You can also go to the link down below in the ticker and the description to check out anything I have to offer. So with that, I would love to take a moment And I'd love to pull a card for us from the Beyond Lemuria deck. And we'll just see what our Lemurian ancestors have for us in this moment. And Lemuria, for those of you that are not familiar yet, I know some of us have definitely heard about Lemuria and probably really love anything related to Lemurian or Atlantis energy. Lemuria is a civilization that was present during Atlantis as well. And they say that Lemuria was a little bit more of a feminine colony or a feminine civilization, where Atlantis was a little bit more masculine. And what we mean by that is energetically, Atlantis was a little bit more geared towards evolution as well as technological advancement. And then they say that Lemuria, the Lemurians were more about spirituality and connection and being able to have intuitive flow and creativity and things of that nature. So then they also say that Atlantis had made itself fall or sink due to the frequency of its self-ambition. And through the self-ambition, they basically imploded on themselves with the technology and the things that they had with weaponry as well. So it's interesting when you hear these stories, because you can actually kind of look at modern history and look at some more current things in our more recent time where we have seen these kind of things take place. You know, it could be a business, it could be a civilization, it could be something super successful. And then that power or that energy kind of consumes that vessel or consumes that container. And then with that, we can sometimes see the fall of it. A very high rise, but then a very high fall as well. And we see it time and time again throughout history. So they say that some of us were incarnated during these time periods and then came here now into this earth period that we're in now to help other humans and help others be reminded of how to not do these things and not how to self-destroy ourselves through self-righteousness, so to say. So the card we have from the Lemurian deck is Reclaim Your Energy. Looks like we got the crown coming on. Put on our violet crown. Spreading the wings as well. Looks like the heart is a passageway down to the earth. So what I'm really sensing is, with reclaiming your energy, this might be a good time to kind of self-evaluate. You know, is there anything that is kind of bothering you in this moment? Or is there anything that is kind of maybe putting you in fear? Is there anything that could be causing you to get triggered into maybe anger or impatience? Or is there anything that is causing resentment in your life currently from the past? Is there, you know, any self-doubt, you know, self-sabotage, or very hard self-criticism or criticism of others that is kind of just creeping through us in this moment? You know, these are things that very subtly we can give our power away through. And what we mean by that is just giving our peace away. You can say that your peace equates to your wholeness in a way. The more at peace you are, it's almost like the more you're embodying your wholeness, because you feel at ease, you feel whole. You don't feel the need to be impulsive. You don't feel the need to try to control things or give into addictive behaviors as well. So with reclaiming your energy, you know, there's practices out there such as cord clearing ceremonies where you're just kind of letting go of attached emotions, letting go of the mental patterns that you continue to have about that person or that thing or that future. And with that, you begin to call back the energy back into your field, because you no longer are giving your focus, giving your vital life force to these things that are not ideally contributing to your everyday life at this point. And with that, we are then able to feel a little bit more in our own safety, our own stability, and have that feeling of trust within ourselves that we are the power that we need, and we are the embodiment of the I am. And as we continue to go through this journey, it is okay to be able to let go, and it's okay to be able to co-create and to be able to decide and continue to change with our free will. So with that, number 42, reclaim your energy, from our Beyond Lemuria deck. And I also just gave the reminder of grace and mercy for ourself and the self as others. And just knowing that, you know, we can let go and we don't have to hold on to any hate, any grudges, anything that could continue to linger negative energy forms in between the interactions of the different energies. So with that, I thank you guys, and I will go ahead and pass it back to Sandy.
Growth and expansion, guys. Growth and expansion. I remember my mom, and I finally began to understand it in my late 20s, early 30s, what she used to say to me when I was younger, small. And she used to always say, can't nobody, and this is how she would say it, can't nobody steal your joy, Sandy, but you sure can give it away. And I think that was her way of saying, can't nobody steal your energy, but you sure can give it away. You can be unbeknownst to you, and where you're pointing your consciousness to, not necessarily your awareness, but your consciousness to, you get to, if you're playing in an arena that you know doesn't fit you, doesn't make you feel good, doesn't give you good vibes, or good, gives you bad juju or whatever, it's not because they came in and they stole your energy. It's at some point in time, you through your free will allowed it to escape you. And once you have the awareness to know that your energy is being siphoned, you get to say, keep it. I tell the divine, let them have it. I got more energy. I come fully stocked. I don't want it back because I don't know what's coming back with it for me. Take what resonates for you through your meditation, through your prayer room, however it works for you. You want to call your energy back, make sure you cleanse it. You don't want it coming back with anything hanging on in there. So that means that if you don't know how to cleanse it, talk to Marcus. He has meditation and if you want to call it rituals or whatnot that you need to cleanse your aura. If you're calling back that energy, But it's okay to let the energy go. Let it go wherever it's you know, whoever tries to pull it out of you. You can say, I got more. But I'm closing that energy cycle, and close it. Whether it's with numerology, whether it's with a cycle of meditation, whether you need to go and do an herbal cleanse, whether you need to go and have a you know, be in a what do you call it, a cycle of just being separate. It's not separate, but within wholeness of yourself and separate from everyone else, and having that moment of your authenticity. All Ra is saying is, whatever was happening to this person that was channeling through the entity that was channeling through her or him, he or she had opened themselves through their free will to be part of this. It wasn't happening because they weren't open to it. It was happening. They could have been open to it and not know that, and not be aware of it. That's all Ra is saying. And all Ra is saying is everything is one. In third density, in order to have an up, you got to have a down. In order to have a left, you got to have a right. In order to have, you got to have the opposites. And in order to learn through your feelings, you've got to have this, you know, ability to tell what makes you feel good and what makes you not, and where you want to go from that. You're through on Tuesdays, as we are embarking and learning about Dharma and karma. Karma is just your action. It lets you know where you are at right now. Your Dharma is where how your soul is traveling through your learning experience. Dharma and karma collaborate. It doesn't mean it has to be exactly like I say, because infinite possibilities are occurring, and we are unique individuals. One size just does not fit all. This is all Ra is saying. One size isn't going to fit all. What worked for this young lady channeling, or isn't working quite as well as it should be channeling, don't worry, she's going to be all right, because you're holding space for her. That's what Ra keeps telling the questioner. Yet every time in each chapter, the questioner asks the same question: what can we do to make this subject or being be comfortable, as the being is being open to be channeled through. Right? Do we have time for one more question, Marcus? Exactly, Starlight. You can always protect your energy. It's your responsibility to protect your energy. You protect it with your free will. Not everybody is going to know that. But once you become aware of that, then when you're giving readings, or when you're speaking light language, or when you're interacting with on energetic exchanges, you have to cleanse. You have to hold space for yourself. You have to take into account, if the energy does not feel like it's yours, you have to surrender it. back to the divine. It's okay to give it back to the divine. You don't necessarily have to give it back to the person that sent it to you. You can always give it back to the divine and say, well, it came from you in the first place. You do what you want to do with it. Right? That's you protecting you. Hi, Lunar Queen. Marcus, do we have time for one more question?
So, Sandra. Sandra.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can
Hopefully
hear
you're not
you.
in a rush.
Can you hear me? I see your
Yep.
lips.
Hopefully you're not in a rush because we're just warming up over here. We got some folks coming. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I said hopefully you're not in a rush because we're just warming up. We got some folks coming in.
We do. Lunar Queen 21 just came in.
What is going on? The vibe is elevating. The vibe is elevating.
All right. All right. So the questioner says, do you mean that this fifth density entity vibration? The questioner says, do you mean that this fifth density entity visualizes certain symbols? And look at what we got here.
A certain symbol.
Certain symbols. The questioner says, I'm assuming that these symbols are of a nature where their continued use would have some power or charge. Am I correct? I am raw. You are correct. Here we go. Ears on. In fifth density, light is as visual a tool as your pencil writing. The questioner says, then I am correct in assuming that this entity configures the light into symbology that is what we would call a physical presence. Is this correct? I am wrong. This is incorrect. The light is used to create a significant purity of environment for the entity to place its consciousness in a carefully created light vehicle, which then uses the tool of light to do its work. The will and presence are those of the entity doing the working. You are light. You are a vehicle of light. If you have expanded if you are living in third density, but you have said, I felt myself shift, and you shifted, and I'm fourth density consciousness, I'm fifth density consciousness. You absolutely can do this. Our bodies were created to carry light. Our bodies were created to carry light, to do a journey, tell a story, become more, to shift and evolve. Mboko ase na kwate na de se salaku ashi na te ki uda bakwa ata asha shonoku unda ia. We are the vehicle of the light, and we are the light working. We are the vehicle of the light, and the divine wants to know we are the light shifting and evolving. And the divine wants you to know we don't all have to do this at once, but eventually we will. Ra wants you to know that. They did, we will. The questioner says, the fifth density entity you mentioned penetrated the quarantine. Was this done through one of the windows, or was this because of his, shall I say, magical abilities? Ra says, I am Ra. This was done through a very slight window, which less magically oriented entities or groups could not have used to advantage. Entities coming from wherever they come from to experience third density, and however they experience it, can only access us as portals if we give them free will. However we give them free will. It's not a right or a wrong to it, because there are many that serve a Satan, and there's a higher being that came in and said, I'll be that for you. Wherever the entity came from, it came to play in third density. It did not want to take a human form, so it was allowed to be the story. It was allowed, if we want to believe in a devil or negative entities, it was allowed to be that for us. And we, whoever we are, if we opened it through our free will, then it came in. And it doesn't have to be a great big window or gap. And if we believe that it's doing us a disservice, if that's what we believe, then it says, your wish is my command. I'm going to do that. And yes, that means that we have to take responsibility for that. So if you believe that somebody somewhere is putting a spell on you and doing some bad juju on you, it's only succeeding because you give it free will to. But once you become aware that it can't play where your free will is, and you do not give it permission, it gotta go. It gotta say bye-bye. It's gotta go back out that and back through that crack of vibration that it came through. It's got to go from you. It don't gotta go out of third density. It can go play with someone else. That's all Ra is saying. There's those windows. Read the divine design. Ra is giving you an overview. The divine design gives you a play-by-play. For me, that helped me. The divine design came in at the perfect time, where when Ra was in the second book, Ra was like dropping some diamonds and some gold nuggets, and I was going, what? And I asked the divine, I said, well, I need to understand this some more. I'm getting lost. And the divine on my Instagram, where I was reading, someone came into my Instagram. I was almost finished with one book, and they said, have you read the divine design? And I said, no, that I'm not familiar with that. And I said, who's the author? They gave me the author. I said, would you please remember to DM me that, because I want to check out the book, because they suggested that be the next book that I read. I went to my Amazon. It was on sale. This is synchronicity. This is vibration. This is the next book that not only did I read it in my Instagram, but it started helping me understand what Ra was talking about, because the divine design gave me visuals. It broke down the vibrational timelines. It broke down how to understand the play-by-play of what happened with aliens and extraterrestrials. And it helped me understand that they are part of the wholeness, that they're not outside of, that they're the divine being wholeness. If we want to believe in aliens, something separate than ourselves, the divine says, let it be so. So these expressions of the divine came from all different areas to play. Oh my God. It went, now I understand what Ra is saying. Where these fifth dimensional beings are coming from, and how they can, how they played with us. And at the same time, how the divine said, okay, done playing, because now you're not playing by the rules. And took it outside of the quantum field. Now they're in a fourth density outside of the quantum field. And the only way that they can come back in to play is when we sleep, when we dream, when we astro travel, when we give them permission by being scared of them, we invite them back in. It blew me away that once upon a time, third density, fourth density, and fifth density occupied Earth consciousness body called Earth plane. Blew me away. Now I understand. Blew me away. Now I understand what Ra meant. Now I understand why the questioner keeps asking this question. In book 1, in book 2, in book 3, he wants to understand it. He wants to say, I forgive me, I'm stupid, I still don't get it. And Ra keeps saying, okay. Blew me away. Absolutely, it's a juicy book. When I read, I don't read so people will go out and buy a book. I don't get any kickback from any of the authors. I read because that was my calling. Growth and expansion. I read on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights on my YouTube channel at 5:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, that's 8:15 Pacific Standard Time. Unfortunately, the StreamYard that I have doesn't allow me to do YouTube and Instagram. So I read there. Follow me. Follow me on my YouTube. Support me. I'm reading right now The Surrender Experiment. Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. Growth and expansion comes in so many forms. That's why we're reading the raw material. The divine is an expression of everything that is and that is not. And that includes raw. Thank you, Lunar Queen. So, let's see. Okay. So, I got so excited, I think my page flipped. So it says, here we go. The questioner says, the fifth density entity you mentioned penetrated the quarantine. No, we read that. I think it's one more down. Okay, here we go. The questioner says, the main point with this line of questioning has to do with the first distortion and the fact that this window exists. Was this a portion of the random effect, and are we experiencing the same type of balancing in receiving the offerings of this entity as the planet in general receives because of the window's effect? I am raw. This is precisely correct. As the planetary sphere accepts more highly evolved positive energy or entities or groups with information to offer, the same opportunity must be offered to similarly wise negative oriented entities or groups. It's called balance. If we offer it to one, we got to offer it to others. So if there's a window for positive entities to come in and play, well, Ross says we've got to offer it to the negative entities because that's free will choice. There's balance. So there's the positive polarity field and the negative polarity field. And guess what? We were meant to play in both. We were meant to feel it, to create from it. We weren't meant to stay in both because it was balance. As far as material things only were supposed to last a minute in the vibration of rosewater, multiflora, sacred serenity healer. Things weren't meant to last. We were meant to feel them and play with them and enjoy them for a moment. And then they were meant to go back to the divine so that we could play with something else. So if we're having a negative moment, I understand what my mom said when she would always quote certain passages of the Bible to me. This too shall pass. Nothing was meant to last forever. Situations, circumstances were meant to pass. Energy was meant to transform. Energy was meant to alchemize and become something new, something different. We were meant to evolve. Everything that you see in the outside world right now, with what's going on politically and with the big pharma and everything, that's meant to pass. Just like when the millennia, when in the millennia, when Genghis Khan ruled, it passed. It became the past. 9/11 became the past, but yet we celebrate it continuously into our now moment. It was meant to be the past. How come we're taught to celebrate all the negativity that's happened and we give them anniversary? Because the powers that be know how powerful your energy is. They know that you are an atom bomb walking, waiting to create something. And they rather you create something from the past than your now moment. They rather you recall the negativity that happened and dive into, maybe just for a little while, hating the people that flew the planes or blah blah and blah, and you create that more, that you give them more of your energy. I'm just saying. Ra's just saying. We're powerful. You can choose peace, or you can say, I'm going to go to a war rally. But I remember Mother Teresa saying, don't invite me to a war rally, but if you invite me to a peace rally, I'll be there. And I finally understood that. She said, I'm not going to sit in the vibration of war. All that's going to do is bring more war. But if you invite me to a peace rally and we talk about peace, and then we talk about how we want to see peace, experience peace, I want peace to be like me, it's all a part of me, then that's the energy that the universe says, let it be so. I got that. When I heard that, I was like in my young 20s. And I went, oh, I didn't know anything about quantum energy or anything, but it sounded so like fluid to me. Right? And when I say right, that's just me. That's how I talk. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it. One size just doesn't fit all. Over to you, Marcus.
Over to me. We're going to take a moment, and I'm going to show you guys the Sacred Kingdom link page. So the Sacred Kingdom link page is the link page to the community that I host. This community is an international community, and it is full of beautiful psychics, practitioners, shamans, speakers, educators. Sandra is a part of the Sacred Kingdom. Lunar Queen is a part of the Sacred Kingdom. And we have other members as well. So we have a Facebook page, and we also have a YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel, we stream multiple content from various different members. And there are live streams every day that are simultaneous with the Sacred Light Broadcast Network. And when you explore this link page, this is what it'll look like. Very simple, just one page. And you will be able to access directly the Facebook link by clicking follow, YouTube by hitting subscribe, Holistic Retreat signups by get tickets. And the Holistic Retreat signups are retreats that I'm hosting and other members will be hosting as well. And then you have the Crystal Shop, Organics Essence. That is Lunar Queen's Crystal Shop. And she is an independent entrepreneur. She's also a single mother of 2 kiddos in our community. And she's in her first year of her own crystal shop online. So you can support her by going to the Sacred Kingdom link page. And then you just click on her link, Organics Essence. And then it'll take you to another page just like this, where her official website is. And then you can browse, shop, and there's also a rewards point system that she has as well. So then as you continue down, you have Eagle's Hearth Ministry and Sacraments with Grandma Katie Singing Eagle. And Grandma Katie Single, let me slow down. Grandma Katie Singing Eagle. She is a Cherokee grandmother, and she makes her own plant-based and herbal products. This is tinctures, lotions, salves, as well as other products as well. And then you continue down, we have Operation Oscar Mike. So Operation Oscar Mike is a nonprofit, and that nonprofit is owned by a good brother of mine here in Ohio. His name is AJ Lardy. He used to be a sergeant in the Marines, and he has done a lot of self-healing through plant medicine and other natural ways such as Reiki. With that, he wanted to create a way, and that way he created a nonprofit for military members that are active and non-active, as well as first responders. And this is a shirt that he has that just came out that you guys can also order and support. He has a nonprofit called Operation Oscar Mike, and is helping bridge and give opportunity to veterans, active members, and first responders holistic healing and alternative healing opportunities, such as horse therapy, Reiki, and other practices through myself, as well as other beautiful therapeutic ways the veterans can heal. So that's Operation Oscar Mike. That is also on the Sacred Kingdom link page as well. And then as you continue down, you have mine, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. That is where you can check out any of my one-on-one healing services, like my Akashic Soul Origin meditations, as well as my Reishi coffee and anything else. And then we have Sarah Broadhead, Shining Soul Healing. She does QHHT sessions, as well as herbal-based education. And then we have Soul Awakening with Sandra. Soul Awakening with Sandra with Sandy Marshall. I think we know something about her a little bit. And then we have Soulistic Healing, which is massage and Reiki with Christina out of Pennsylvania. So this is our international community link page to Sacred Kingdom. You can access my site, Sandy's site, Lunar Queen site, and much more at your own free will and leisure. And you can book and browse directly with any of us that have services to offer. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, I'll go ahead and put the website up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see it. It is listen.to/Sacred Kingdom. There you go. So I just want to share that with you guys and let you guys check that out and know that that is available 24/7 for you guys. So, that's always there. If you feel like you could really use holistic help, you could use some spiritual guidance, you feel like you could use a sacred space to be vulnerable and to have a trustworthy individual that will unconditionally hold space for you, as well as give you any guidance or channel messages that you could be open to as well. And that is what we do with the Sacred Kingdom. We bridge communities, we share our gifts, we be of service, and we allow you to be able to uplift, become aware of who you are, as well as own your empowerment and reassemble yourself, mind, body, emotions. At your free will, we are always here. The Sacred Kingdom. I feel like I just did a Marvel Avengers ad. Avengers, assemble!
Yeah. We're here. There is so much that's being offered or offered up, and it's continually growing. Right? And you go, well, how come I don't know about everything you're doing, Sandra? It's because the divine took me and put me through the divine is giving me the word. Evolutionary shift. And its growth and expansion all at the same time. And I'm learning how to move through it. So on Tuesdays, I have my Soul Awakening podcast series. Right now, it's in the second series called Living Karma and Dharma. The other series was embodying the universal laws. Who knows what the divine is going to do for the next one? But it's a podcast. It's a learning podcast. Who knew? On Tuesday evenings and Thursday evenings, I do my Soul Awakening book read on YouTube. On Fridays, the divine revamped my Soul Conversation podcast on Instagram. It is now called Soul Awakening Conversations, Emerge and Flow. It's on Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8 East Coast time, 7 Central Time. And it's a more in-depth conversation with a person that is having growth and expansion and using it for how they're moving. Some people are moving from being part of service to self, and they're moving into service to others. Some are moving in from service to others to service to self, and they get to have a space where they can feel comfortable in sharing their growth and their expansion, what they're going through at that moment, whether it feels good or not. So I'm growing. I have not done a calendar yet, but I will get that done. So with that said, guys, my dog just side-eyed me and said, I need to go pee.
That is hilarious.
Yes, my dog will side-eye me. He just went, and I saw the whites of his eyes. Okay. I'm just like, okay.
That's
Who
our
knew?
cue, guys.
Yes. My dog, his name is Charlie Brown. And no, he's not a blockhead anymore.
I love that cartoon forever.
It was my favorite.
Good old Charlie Brown.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Lunar Queen
Well,
says,
with that,
thank you for sharing space. I close my eyes while you are reading and receive so many downloads tonight. And that's what Raw wants. Raw wants you to take it in. Uniquely you. Take it in. Take the downloads in. And then, go discern what it means for you. Right? Growth, expansion, shifting, evolution. And then if you want to say, I'm going to wash, rinse, and repeat it, and then start a new journey or start a new book, write the end on one book, close the book, put it on like my back shelf here, put the book up there and start a new journey, open the page and go, okay, once upon a time, once upon a now moment, and start your story. For however long your eyes wake up in the morning, in the glorious nowness of you, write your story. Thank you for joining us. See you same raw time, same raw day. See you for episode 74, is it?
ladies and gentlemen, that does it for episode 73 of the Raw Material Law of One. I'm Marcus Christolight. That is Sandy M. And I thank you all for joining us for this beautiful episode tonight. You guys stay put on the outro. I am going to play some highlights from a really fun and beautiful Sacred Kingdom giveaway that myself and Lunar Queen did live yesterday. And you guys just stay tuned. There will be a lot more live giveaways coming up with different members of the Sacred Kingdom community. So just stay tuned, and there'll be a lot of beautiful, fun things going on with the online community. With that, I thank you guys again for supporting. All of you guys that commented, gave your energy, connected with us tonight. Thank you guys. You're definitely seen and recognized and acknowledged for sharing your authenticity and breathing life into this container tonight. Thank you guys.
Wholeness and balanced love to you and yours. One love. Peace.
Sandy, have a good night over there.
For the Sacred Kingdom giveaway, hosted by Marcus Christolight of Sacred Light and Lunar Queen of Organics, Essence, Gems and Gifts. There are 3 incredible prizes up for grabs: a free healing session of your choice with Christo, a retreat ticket, and gorgeous crystals from Lunar Queen's shop.
Hey everybody, so I'm going to be giving away a tortilla agate. This is about 55 millimeters wide, so if you look at this, it's about 3 inches wide. So this one's really good for grounding. It connects you to Mother Earth. Spears generate energy in all directions, and they do come with a stand, so you'll be able to stand it up and let it generate the energy in all directions. These are also really good for past life recall. And but my first book was Journal to the Center of Your Soul, which is a guided journal. So you just go through the journal and find the chakra that you want to learn about, and then each one is a teaching, an affirmation, and a reflection prompt. And then it helps you go through each chakra and learn more about each one while you're learning more about yourself. So it is journal.
Will be for a one-on-one healing session of your choice. They're off.
Look at him with his little hat on. All right. Spirit Bear of 396 Hertz. You're being healed from guilt and fear. Such emotions will no longer steal your personal power or dissuade you from confidence. Happiness and realizing your own worth, no matter how unlikely it may seem, you're going to emerge from a spiritual winter into light and life. The divinely ordained for your liberation. Now we got Twiz movie. Here we go.
Oh, Twiz.
Rookie number 3.
Good job, Twiz. The top hat.
Hey.
Congratulations. You guys can check out this QR code up here in the corner. This QR code will take you directly to our Sacred Kingdom link page, where you guys can browse all of our different services, as well as Lunar Queen's Crystal Shop, all on one link page for you.
Oh, also we have a point system. So every 25 points equals $1. So just for signing up, you get $2 off immediately. Go. Got the snowman.
Who's gonna pull it out?
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
This is
Logan.
Yay!
Ooh. Okay. Congratulations, Logan. You just got a retreat ticket of your choice. Congratulations, Mr. Synchronicity.
Hey.
Looking fancy.
Yes.